Insight 2. Physically modify spaces and develop active control. While trying to find the possible causes of why we are not able to say no, another hypothesis that could emerge is the sense of duty. If we think about it lucidly, the first question we should ask is, how exactly does the sense of duty work? It can be positive or negative, but how can we control it? Graphically, I can obtain this effect moving the cause and placing one or more small dots in the center, which could represent a process with several crossways. With a software or an app, it is a simple and fast mechanism. If I work with pen and paper, I can use scissors and reposition on a bigger sheet of paper the selected elements. Or I could use from the start a small note for every important point. Anyway, this is a practical and interactive way to work, which attracts the attention and involves the collaboration of the other person. It's a system that allows to analyze things in a practical way and that offers the opportunity to create concrete spaces of action. This approach allows to reduce the totalitarian effects of our thoughts. Being able to say no or having a sense of duty are two useful patterns. In fact, they support self-respect and are a way to reach our goals and to avoid being manipulated at work and in interpersonal relationships by these so-called takers. In this last application, I can use graphics to transform something that was initially negative, thus, for example, represented with a gray tone or a sad face, into something positive, neutral, strategic, etc. You can modify the graphic gesture by adding a crossway that highlights your freedom of choice, or harmoniously balances positive and negative colors, or add differential criteria that allows a conscious choice. In this case, I could add dots that represent the different choices to recognize situations, contexts, or more appropriate people for one or the other modality. It is also possible to introduce variable criteria like tiredness, or by pulling limits that cannot be exceeded by anyone because of the base of our self-respect. You can mark criteria of reciprocity in the relationship, analyzing how past situations weigh in that specific relationship, or the expectations, more or less realistic, for the future. If there are many criteria, we can draw a thicker circle or use a brighter color for the focal points, so to facilitate their fast identification and make them easy to remember even when under stress. We can also strengthen the value of positive paths to increase motivation, emotional engagement, and self-confidence. To do so, we can combine an icon rich in meaning and emotional strength with the specific person with whom we are working. A positive winning or satisfied face could do, but we could also use the stylized drawing of a king with a crown, a flag on top of a mountain, the image of a superhero, or any other image with a positive energy. In general, these measures help us overcome the natural tendency to isolate a problem and a cause and make us see the big future, think in a strategic way, and better balance our energies. It becomes a way to avoid immutable thoughts and beliefs like, "This is how I am," and behaving always in the same way. Furthermore, it becomes possible to see all the differential elements that add flexibility and favor the processes of integration and change from their neurobiological foundations, acting directly on the internal representations.